Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Bear Cave. I'm Teddy, and you are listening to Night Talk. Well, it is DForDistortion. Analyze this mess because somebody has to. Well, it is DForDistortion. Analyze this mess because. All right, so I had another tab open. That's what you heard. So I'm looking at the chat. I can see some of you coming in. I see my moderators, Baby Juju and Vicky Black. Please hit the like on your way in. All right, so I want to go ahead and just jump right into this. We are going to be, just here in the Bear Cave tonight. Won't be playing any additional receipts tonight on Station Head. And what you missed last night, I have taken down, but I haven't. All right, so let's focus on tonight. Hang on one more moment here. I'm getting things set up because I want to show you a couple of things. Okay, here we go. All right, I take it that the sound is good, so I'm just going to continue on. Again, tonight is D for distortion, because when the truth becomes too inconvenient, some people start rewriting the facts in real time. So let's be clear. No judge ever told me, quote, shut up. No court has ruled that I've lost. Okay. And no subpoena, listen carefully, was denied on its merits. Okay. The subpoena was quashed. It was premature. But you wouldn't know that if you listened to Danielle. In a video that she posted, I believe it was yesterday, she falsely claimed, I've lost everything, that my filings were denied and declined and quashed, and that the judge told me to stop filing all together. She didn't refer to the filing or the order of 61. Okay. She knows this, but she's not going to tell her audience the truth of what's on the document. Read from the document. Okay. Because the judge said, and I'll put it in my own words, but I can read from the document, that until the situation or the two items, one was personal service on the defendant or service, and personal jurisdiction, until those two things have been resolved, that I am not to file anything more. So we are waiting on a ruling. Okay. The judge didn't silence me because, as Daniel tried to say, you filed too much, and others. That's not why she said what she said. in a ruling. This is a legal matter, and this has to be resolved. This question of service and personal jurisdiction. So in order, before we can move forward, that has to be decided. Okay? And of course, everyone knows how she refers to me. This Bundy person. You know, that's not legal commentary. That's disinformation wrapped in misinformation and distortion. That's not confidence. That's fear masked as arrogance. And it's not truth. No, it is pure distortion. Right? She's feeling the silence of the court's pending ruling with a fictional narrative, one which she wins by default, where she's untouchable, and where I'm nothing but obsessed, defeated, and discredited. No. But here's the thing: silence is not surrender. Delay is not defeat. And distortion won't erase evidence. The court hasn't ruled yet. But Danielle is already declaring herself the victor, not based on fact, but on fiction she broadcasts to thousands. Why? Because the truth terrifies her. Because she knows what happens if, and I've always said that, if the court rules in favor of service and jurisdiction. Because subpoenas don't lie, and neither do bank records. So she distorts what's on the record. She resorts to mockery, to gaslighting, to spinning a web of legal distortion so thick that her audience stops asking questions and just repeats her lines. That's her MO. But I'm not here to win the approval of her viewers. I'm here for accountability. And if the court moves this forward, distortion won't save her from discovery. So tonight, remember this. It's D for distortion. The louder the lies, the closer we are to the truth. All right. So it is 9:47. Let's see if we can get through all of this by 10:30. Okay. I put together a side-by-side comparison of the court filings because one of the things that was said in her video, again, this is fair use commentary, is that there was just so much filing. Mhm. But I'm going to show you the truth and why. You've got to remember there was the defendant who is named the Jane Doe, and there was a John Doe. All right. So I had two that showed up basically at the same time, both of them filing various motions and exhibits. So I needed to respond. All right. Let me hang on. What do I want to show first? What do I want to say? Just a few quick points. I think I made them in my opening, but again, no court ruling has been issued. All right. So this declaring of victory before the judge is ruled is pure speculation, all dressed up as fact. Okay. No subpoena was denied on substance. Yes, it was quashed. All right. It had to do with it was premature. Okay. False narratives are filling the void. Yes, she's using the delay to spread misinformation and discredit me, hoping people won't look deeper. And then she's telling others, which she can say what she wants to, referring them to some other content creator who's reading from her filings. This is what I understand. And she's trying to paint that person as unbiased. That could be the furthest from the truth. But I have not listened to anything that they've said. I haven't. And I have not read from Danielle's filings. No, I haven't shown them. Just John Doe. So she's misrepresenting the legal procedure. Yeah. This is a fantasy, it's not facts, it's distortion. Yeah. Her need to distort the record shows that she's scared of the truth, not confident in her own defense. Okay. So let's, where do we go? I had this. Just hang on for a second. Let me put up my. Let's put up this real quick. Because I think it's important to show you because, well, people think that there were all of these filings and they simply filed nothing or minimal. Okay, hang on. Okay, let's see if I can put it in a PDF. Please be patient. Oh boy. So I have to do it like this. I want you to see this side-by-side comparison, all right? Starting with ECF 25 on the left, you've got the plaintiff's filings, and then on the right, you have the defendant's filings and John Doe's filings, all right? You can go to the history of documents, but I just want you to see the different ones, okay? And then finally at the bottom, I'll read through them real quick. But my response to show cause, all right, is 64 through 70, all right? And then Danielle was the last one that filed between the defendant and the plaintiff. She filed a 71, a response to the plaintiff's show cause. But let's just look at this. John Doe, ECF 26, motion to seal. ECF 27, John Doe, motion to quash. ECF 28, Jane Doe's motion to dismiss. ECF 29, an exhibit came in, Danielle Robertson. ECF 30, John Doe, motion to seal contact information. ECF 33, notice of objection to the plaintiff. ECF 34, John Doe's objections to motion to strike, motion to quash. ECF 35, Danielle Robertson, supplemental motion, supplement to motion to dismiss. ECF 46, John Doe's emergency motion to stay. There was a 46, 47, and 57, 3 were struck. ECF 48, John Doe's notice of supplemental exhibit. ECF 49, Danielle Robertson's opposition to the plaintiff's motion to strike. ECF 54, John Doe's motion for reconsideration. ECF 63, John Doe's objection, the corrected one, to the magistrate judge's order, and then the ECF 71. All right, so if you look side by side, there's really, I think they have 14, 1, 2, 3. I couldn't pull up the other chart that did a better. For some reason, it wouldn't come up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 filings. 1, 2, 3. And this one was before their filing showed up. All right. This motion to compel compliance to block from me. All right. So I had an ECF 36. It was an emergency motion to strike filings under false identities. I haven't read from my filings, very little. Then I did have a motion to strike Jane Doe's special appearance. I did. And then I had a motion to compel Jane Doe's identity because, so we have a Jane Doe and a John Doe showing up, anonymous, pseudonyms, and they're making these motions and filings. So for people who say, why all the motions to compel? I don't know who these people are that are filing motions and making arguments. So it might appear when somebody's looking at, but I'm responding. It's a back and forth. Okay? Then I had to, show cause response. 45, opposition to John Doe's motion to seal. By the way, Danielle said, I lost everything. Opposition to John Doe's motion to seal, that was overruled for John Doe. Right now, the way things stand, pending the ruling by the judge, John Doe can't file anything more unless he asks permission from the court to remain anonymous or file anonymously. She didn't say that. And she didn't refer to the document specific. She just did a lot of talking. All right. So yes, there was an opposition I filed to John Doe's motion to seal. 50, a motion to compel Jane Doe's address and identity. You'd have to understand why that was. She switched from the Dover, Delaware registered agent's address, and now it's somewhere out, elsewhere. Is it out in Montana somewhere? I'd have to take a look, just to confirm. But there's another address. And by the way, just so you know, the address that she put down now that she's filing under, that is part of the public. Over 200,000 people have used and are using that address. Yes, there's information that's been documented in the city, complaints for this, apparently this small place, a registered agent, right? So is that your registered agent? Again, I'm not going to get into what I said, okay? But I'm just telling you, a little bit of why. So a motion to compel Jane Doe's address and identity. Again, here's this motion to dismiss my case, to throw everything out. Who is this person who's filing various motions and arguments, but says that they're coming as a special appearance? They have filed a lot. They have. It's in the document. Let me just remain focused here. Then ECF, opposition to the motion to dismiss. 53, a reply to the opposition to the motion to dismiss. 55, a reply to John Doe's objection. 56, second supplemental motion to comply or to compel identity. Then a reply, number 60, to Jane Doe's response. And then, I've got right now is my response to the order to show cause. So even when you look at this, since they've shown up, including the one just before, I had 16, they had 14. Okay? But I'm not really counting. I am responding and filing what I think is in order. So these aren't just frivolous, like I'm just filing to be filing. And she characterized it as stalker. The judge never called me a stalker. Okay? I listened to a portion of that. She wants to create this narrative that the judge just said, stop, it's too much filing. No, that's not why. She gave an order because before looking at anything more, because Danielle filed, all right, an objection based on, jurisdiction. She challenged it, jurisdiction and service, saying that she wasn't served properly. She was never served, all right? And the court has no jurisdiction. So when that came in, the judge reviewed everything in fairness. This is what the judge is going to do, right? So that question needs to be absolutely resolved, because one, this would be, I believe, the third time that I've had to respond to show cause. All right? So this is my third time. So the judge wants to make sure legally that it's proper, it's done right. She's making this argument. All right, so if it takes a little bit more time, this is something legal. All right? So I can't argue with the law. There are certain guidelines, there's laws on the books. And because of due process, everyone here in this country is entitled to due process, including the defendants. I have never Give me the receipt, or show the audience, or play the receipt where I have declared I have won anything, said anything close to what she's saying. I have not. I have not. I've always been uh, fair, I think, on both sides, to say, I don't know how this is going to go. This is where we're at, and to give my audience an update and to continue with my D4s. And tonight is D for distortion. Let me get into a little bit more, but I wanted to just show you this side by side. Okay, so when again she says all of this filing, it's too much. Uh, Hang on, let me just do this. Let me do this in some order. All right, and I can see your comments on my other screen. Hold on for a second. Why can't I get this to come up? I'm just clearing some tabs. Hopefully things will come back up. All right. So, just to be clear again, or let's be clear one more time. The judge never said I was a stalker. The judge never said shut up. The judge never ruled against the subpoena on the merits. This is procedural, all right? And no, I've not lost everything. This is what she has told her audience. It's disturbing in a slanderous rant full of lies, fabricated for her followers. She's not speaking from the court transcripts. She's not referencing the rulings. She's inventing a false narrative to humiliate and try to intimidate me while the judge is silent. But that silence, that is not a ruling. Okay? I don't know, but it's still not a ruling. You want to call me names? Okay. But don't lie about the court. Don't lie about the law. And don't mislead people into thinking this case is over when it's not. Because, in my opinion, that's not commentary. That's defamation. That's not the truth. It's not the truth. It's not. The real story still, and I understand things have been quashed, but the case hasn't been decided on to move forward. Okay. The bank transactions, all of these things have been documented. Those things, if they could, will speak louder than any YouTube rants. Yeah. Also, I heard something else that I have told you by listening to these videos. She used the phrase, this time, my money. Again, in another video, my money. This is my money. Nobody tells me how I spend my money. She's referring to what's coming in. There's just, so why? And the more that I hear that, and the more that I see it's been documented, there's, receipts of it, the more I have questions. Yeah, let me take this. Let's take this top banner down because I'm not looking at it. Let's go back here. Yeah, the more. Let me turn this down to a little bit. Okay, there we go. Set this back up. I haven't read from all of the documents, but when I'm talking about the case, I do, from time to time, I do refer to it because I think it's, it's what's on the record. Okay. Hang on. Let me see. There was something more. Let me just look at this transcript. Again, this characterization that for the judge that I was appearing as an obsessed stalker or weirdo by filing. She said, the judge said, this is what's in her video on the transcript. And the judge said, quote, she was filing too many documents. Stop. She actually was told to shut up and stop filing documents and do not file any more documents. The judge wanted her to stop filing all this stuff. And more, things that were defamatory. The judge did not say you were filing too many documents. And then she says, and the judge had to tell her to stop. And then she repeats it. The judge got sick of you filing. Like she wanted you to shut up. That's the way for the judge to say, shut up. This is about the law. This is about procedure. But I did at least want to show just, too many? No, a side-by-side will let you know. And others who were talking about filing motion to compel or this motion or that motion. You're not reading the filings. And if I don't respond, yeah. But silence again, just because it's silent doesn't mean the case has been dismissed or it's over. It's still being reviewed. And I just have to wait because eventually the judge, because she made the order, so she's going to get to it. I don't know everything, that's before her and the court. Let me just pause and read some of your comments. Then maybe I'll um, show something else. What is it? I've been live 40 minutes. It is 10:17. Okay, so that's not too bad. And yes, make sure you like the video. Um, I'd appreciate it. So let me start at the top. Just say hello to some folks. And sound is good. Great. You can email me also at unwinewithteddy@gmail.com. Okay. And please be mindful of the things that you write in the chat. So we've got Angie, Sharon. Love wins. Good evening to you. Let's see who else. Cups of Conversations. Good evening. Just kind of going. Maria. Oh, people in the bushes, definitely the bush babies. Victoria. Sammy Z or Sammy Zam. Have I seen Sammy Zam? Let me go back up here. You're in the bushes, okay? Welcome. Just reading through some of the comments. Sharon says she doesn't want her Avengers to go to Pacer and read the case. She wants to give her distorted, DFordistorted or distortion update, or she wants to uh, have them go somewhere else to hear what she has filed. I doubt seriously if anyone else is reading and giving commentary on that she's guiding them to on what I filed. But I don't know because I haven't listened. So I can only guess. Let's see. Angie, a different question, says, I've noticed in the last couple of weeks, several channels have been taken down. Do you think her or her team are doing that to distract? I don't know. I don't know all the reasons behind, like some of the people, why they've either gotten strikes or why their channels were removed. I did hear, about someone else. I did. Hang on. Why did that stop? Wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. I heard some things that were absolutely could be debunked. And I'll leave it at that. No, I'm staying focused. Don't let that distract you, Teddy. She's telling foolish lies to make herself feel less worried. I don't know why exactly, but I know there is a history of distorting the truth. You know, if things are on the record, whatever is on the record, refer to the record. Tell the truth. Yeah. But don't say the judge said this when the judge didn't say that. No. Mhm. Thank you, Baby Juju. Says you're doing a great job, Teddy. Thank you to all of our loyal viewers and those of you who are new. No one believes this. People know how it works. Yeah. Um, yeah, she did. I, the video was long, so I didn't listen to all of it. Again, I just scanned through it because yeah, there is some reference to myself in there under Bundy. That's what she calls me. Okay. Um, yeah, she did. She did mention other cases. She did. Yeah. hmm Sharon says she's worried about Kimmy's case too. I don't believe for a second she's not. She's had a judgment against her. She was making a distinction between default and default judgment. Mhm. She was saying a lot. Um, but still, the case is pending. It's not closed. It's not dismissed. Final decision hasn't been made. No, on any of the cases that have been filed against her. Not a final decision. Yeah. The last time I looked, but that's been a while. Yeah, I'm focused. I looked when I was, when she introduced, um, you know, inserted me into that case. Yeah. Um, and you know what I think about that. So no, Angie, to come back around, do I don't know. Because you're asking for a distract. I don't know. Can't say why. Cup says, did she tell them how she lied and had her invisible cousin lie also? I don't know. I doubt it seriously in a in the video. I doubt it. But I doubt that she mentioned. She made it a point always, And by the way, I'm just going to say this. So this phrase, Danielle Robertson, is a stage name. I don't know if I've ever heard her characterize it as a stage name so much, but until or since this case had been filed, she's referred to it something different, but this stage, okay, that could just be ancillary, but I just find it, the use of it, I've never heard her referred to it as a stage name until now. Yeah. It's like if you say things enough and you repeat things enough, and this is again a pattern of hers, then people believe what they might hear, because she'll drill it over and over and over, repeat it, the same thing over and over, so that it gets like a 1, 2, 3, 4. Whether she says it in different, just turn the picture around, just turn, right side up, upside down, left, right. It's the same thing said to drive home a narrative. Yeah. For some reason, I can't pull up. That's why you hear me clicking. I was trying to pull something up. Hang on. Looking for something. So, I can just say this. I don't know why the delay. I think, I could, say there could be various possibilities. But I want to think that the judge is, when she has gotten around to it, is likely reading, all of this. Maybe she's weighing she would have to be weighing both sides, looking at all of this, all of the implications. Yeah, there's a lot to consider. I'm not a judge. I don't know all the legal, all the law, right? I know I've presented my argument. And I think she's doing a very thorough job, at reviewing it. That's what I hope. That's what I expect. Fairness, judicial, or however the ruling, I think is going to be within the, guidelines and purview of the law. She's got to follow the law. What am I looking at? Yeah. Okay. So I just took a look at a email. If you sent me an email a while, We're on live. I just looked at it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mhm. Yeah, it this is not a sprint. I said that at the very beginning. I don't know how many times. This is a marathon. This has a lot of moving parts. And I don't know what I don't know. Wow, I haven't seen pink dynamite in a long time. Pink dynamite. Um, Angie says, I think she knows, this again is your opinion, that she has filed too many court docs. She's telling lies that you were told to stop filing so much. I was never told that. No. I can say something, but I'm not. Um, yeah, I don't know either. You know, the the case was, I'll just characterize it like this. As far as the timing and everything, the case was moving along at a pretty good clip. All right. And then this order kind of put it in a, we're kind of holding and waiting. All right. This is a very important decision. Yeah. Mhm. For the case, not just for me. It's for the case if it moves forward. It can mean a lot of things. But I'm not going to jump ahead and talk about things until a decision is made. Yeah. Well, Maria says, I can't see that the court system telling someone to stop submitting documents. I can say this in all fairness, a judge certainly wouldn't want, maybe I'll just say some judges, most judges, wouldn't want a lot of just, frivolous filing, repeat filing of things because their time is so, valuable and to review things. So, as respect, for the court, um, yeah. So I know I'm not just filing to be filing. Yeah. And who has to make that decision is the judge. Right. But it's being spun like the judge isn't punishing me. But no, the judge, I don't feel like this is some punishment. And it's like, it's being characterized like, maybe like that. But that's not how I see it. No. We come at a crossroad and we've got to get this. She said it it has to be resolved before. As a matter of fact, where is it? Maybe I should refer to it so we can just 61. Where is it? Let's bring it over. Wait a minute. Hang on. I'm going to bring over the correct one. And then we'll wrap things up. Let's just put this up. Fair use commentary. All right, so this is the order to show cause. All right. Let's just go right to the bottom. The order was, by June 4th, Evans must show cause whether the court can exercise personal jurisdiction over Robertson and whether Robertson was properly served. Underline, until these issues are resolved, Evans may not file any more motions or other documents. That's what she said. But the reason she said has to do with this show cause. This is what's hanging in the balance right now. Okay. Has to be resolved until these issues are resolved. So, that's what she said. Yes. And the court wants to move. I mean, this is a very critical matter. And they want to get it right. Yeah. The court wants to rule out the false claims before it can move forward. So Maria says, oh, I see. Basically, the judge is asking time to review current documents. Yeah, there's a lot. You see, there were a lot of filings. So, before presenting anything more for her to go through with a court, she's like, wait a minute. We've got to get this issue because the defendant made, this motion and talked about jurisdiction and talked about, whether, or, saying that she wasn't properly served. Her name isn't Danielle. I told you, this is at issue. Her name, Danielle Robertson, the use of that name. I'm not going to tell you how I argue, but it's there. And service. And by the way, just so everyone knows, if I prevail in one, that's not good enough to move it forward. I have to. Both have to be, shown. Both have to be shown. Proper service and jurisdiction. Yeah. So this is I'll just say, I don't know how high the bar, but it's pretty, it's a legal bar that has to be threshold that has to be overcome. And it's going to be based on the law, based on the argument, based on the evidence, based on what's in the law. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Um, hmm. Intentionally, yes. 107 pages. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of exhibits to review. A lot of things, I'm sure she has clerks and, case managers, however it works. Yeah. So I just have to trust the process. That's it. Yeah. I've been on now for an hour and 7. So, yeah, I could say more, but so I wanted to come on and say that. Um, it's DForDistortion. Analyze this mess because somebody has to say it. Yeah. I am not, I don't know why people think I don't know. I am getting my sleep. I am not pacing the floor and I'm not doing any of that. I've got a lot of things. Yeah, yes, this is very, very important. It is. It is. But there are other things too. Yeah. While we are waiting. Anything else? Let me just check my email one more time. So what do you think? What do you think? You know what? The person that asked me, Angie, what do you think? That's what I should, before I give my response. What do you think? Why? I mean, you asked the question, so why do you think the strikes and the takedowns? Hmm. Yeah. And yeah, Nosy Whole Live was mentioned too. But what she didn't mention and didn't tell her audience, is that the first strikes were against Nosy Whole Live videos and and the impersonation of Nosy Whole Life. I get the receipts. YouTube has them. So no, she's not going to talk about that. Yeah. I'm learning some new things as it's going to take some time. Yeah. So I think I will leave it at that. Before I could say a lot, but I just DForDistortion, yeah. You forgot about that one? You forgot about that one. Yeah. It's all there. Hmm. Hmm. There's so much going on. Okay, so Angie says, I'm not sure. It just seemed funny timing. Um, Timing is always important, right? For the record, I believe you and Reese. Yeah. Yeah. Right now, you know, it's still a case, and we're waiting for relief. That's it. All right. Biggest bear hugs go out to all the grizzlies and the honey bears. Please hit the like on your way out. Join me sometime tomorrow. Will be Friday again. Wow. It'll be July the 11th. Time is moving right on. Baby Juju says, I believe a lot of it is related. Oh, I just have to wait. There's like two things I want to talk about, but I just gotta wait. I just have to wait. Uh, no, I didn't. So, Cup says, did you hear the world is spinning faster? No, but if it's spinning faster, I mean, physically faster, it would have to do with something like physics, the gravitational pull, or, how close we are or away from the other. So what did they say? Because I've heard of the world, Earth spinning faster, or are you talking about just, you know, we are closer as people? Yeah. So physically, and the water currents have changed also. That's fascinating. Yeah, I could talk about that. I mean, I like talking about science. I do. Really. It keeps expanding. Wow. Yeah. See you next time. It's getting darker earlier. Yeah. Yeah. The universe. Mhm. Yeah. The black hole, right? Let's see. It's because daylight savings time. I think we've reached the longest day in the year, so now it's going. Yeah. Yeah. hmm So now we are losing, I think, so many minutes a day. Yeah. Yeah. We're on the other side. Yeah. That's it. Thank you, all of you, for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed a little bit of conversation tonight. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Teddy. Good night.